And then considering the task that he's going to help them take the first step over into the promised land. And he knows Jericho, and he knows the walls, he knows the fortress, he knows how insurmountable the odds really are. And so God comes to Joshua knowing his nerves and his hesitancy, all the obstacles, everything that's got to go on inside of his life. I mean, it seems like he's just up against a brick wall almost. God comes to Joshua in Joshua 1 and verse number 9, and these are the words that God says to Joshua. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. I believe this is, in a nutshell, what the Lord had to say to Joshua, and we're done preaching tonight. I believe the Lord said to Joshua, I know you're scared. I know you're apprehensive. I know there's a lot of people watching you. I know there's a lot of expectations about your life. There's probably people sitting on the sidelines thinking that you'll never mount up and you'll never do what you are supposed to do. There's probably a lot of naysayers. There's probably a lot of people, if we were to bring this thing to a vote, they'd probably vote against you. And I know Joshua, the Lord probably saying to Joshua, I know you feel inferior. I know you feel like you can never measure up maybe, and you'll just never get it. And then God says to Joshua, don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed. Don't get defeated in this thing. And God asked him a question. Have not I commanded thee? You ought to jot it down somewhere in the margin of your Bible. You ought to jot it down. Listen very closely. You ought to jot it down in your Bible. That God puts omnipotence behind his commands. His sovereignty is displayed in our responsibilities of life. And if God has called you to do something, God will give you the wherewithal to accomplish what he expects out of us inside our life. And so God says to Joshua, have not I commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage. He says, just trust me. Have courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. This is what God says. For the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. For you, young person, to go back to school on Tuesday, to go back to school and to take a stand for what's right. Even though some people kind of expect you to make a mockery out of it and to be on the fringe and to really be casting a shadow over the gospel. They've come to understand that the faith that you display here at the church is not the faith that you display while you're at school with them. And so they kind of got you pegged. For you to walk back into that setting and to be the Christian that God's called you to be is going to be disheartening. It's going to be something that can cause a lot of fear to grip you. That's what God says. God says to you tonight, you don't have to walk in there by yourself. Amen. You won't have to stand in your own strength. You can walk back into that school, be it Christian school or public school. You can walk back in that school. You can hold your head high and you can make the right decisions, God says, because I am with you wherever you go. This message isn't just for the teenagers, though. Well, how many times we as adults find ourselves just kind of taking a back seat to the way that we know that we're supposed to live. You think about all the facts. I've just touched on a couple of things now. You think about the entertainment, the things we watch on our televisions, the music that we listen to, the places we go. I mean, the entertainment that we allow ourselves, how easy it is for us to just kind of get sideways with the church and all those kinds of things and to set things right sometimes. Some of us have to go home and have a conversation with our spouse. Some of us, if truth be told, we have to go home and apologize maybe to our kids. Yeah. Children, some of you have to go home and maybe to get things right, have a conversation with your parents and just kind of fess up and get things back to the way that they're supposed to be. And it can seem insurmountable. But again, God says, you can be strong and you can have good courage to do that because I'm going to be right there with you. You won't be alone. I'll stand with you. I'll speak with you. And I'll be right there helping you through every step of the way. Now here's the invitation. The invitation tonight is to just be honest and to be sincere. If you have a desire to live for God and to get on the right path and stay on the right path for your life, I think this will help you. But if you don't have that kind of desire, but you just come down here to make a fair show in the flesh, it really wouldn't help you at all tonight. My prayer is that you'd find some honesty and some sincerity inside of your life tonight. And make up your mind that we're going to go with God, even if it hair lips the world. Let's stand for prayer.